All right. So, and speaking of open mics, I mean, you don't do them, of course, anymore, or do you? Like,
Very
just
rarely.
try out stuff?
Yeah, just rarely.
Yeah, you don't need to. Don't need to be there. But you've done them, and like, how would I mean? Because I feel every time I do these. The free mics and stuff, that I can come with big self-confidence and I have good jokes, even jokes I tried on friends, and they laugh, and then I get nothing.
Yeah.
I just have 30 other comics staring at me like you done soon?
Right.
Will this take long?
Yeah, so the open mic crowd is always looking at their watch because they want to try to go to more open mics in the same night.
Yeah.
So if I can do an open mic here, it's a 5 o'clock open mic. If this guy gets off stage, then maybe I can go on stage, and then I can get to the next open mic. And also, I have all these jokes in my head that when it is my turn to get my 5 minutes and have to buy a drink or something, then I'm thinking in my head about what I want to say. Okay, so that's where this audience, that's where their mindset is.
Yeah.
Okay, they're not showing up in the club like, oh, I can't wait to
laugh.
hear the Swedish guy and all of his great jokes.
Finally a Swedish guy.
Yeah, they don't care about you.
No.
And they're not going to be, because they're doing this so much, they can't really give you the love that you need, you know?
Exactly.
Because they're thinking about their own thing. So if I ever would go to an open mic now, I would know that it's not the best place for me to evaluate my jokes. I would use it as a chance to practice trying to say how I want to say the words, and just working on getting my ideas that are in my head, get those ideas out into the universe, into a tape recorder or something where I can work on it later. But if they don't laugh, that doesn't mean the joke wouldn't work in a real show. You know, you come to my show where we have an actual audience of non-comedian audience members.
Yeah,
you're going to get a much more of a laugh there because now they're paying, not only because they're paying to see the show, but also because they're not all comedians.
Yeah.
They're regular people. Regular people would laugh at these jokes that the comedians just won't. They can't. They heard them too many times.
I think what it is as well, just for me personally, is I think I'm defending my ego.
Yeah.
It's like I'm fighting instead of just going, you know what?
You know
just
what?
Like, all right.
Yeah.
And just like hang on the mic and just like, I'll try some jokes and see if it works, it doesn't. And maybe I go more like, all right, I'll save that one.
Yeah.
It's almost like I see everything as a show, and like, now it's my time to shine. And then the fall will be a lot worse.
At the same time, I think being vulnerable on stage is very important, and caring about the reaction you're getting is important in comedy. I think that the reaction is everything, right? I mean, that's why we do comedy. We want to hear people laugh. But I think for an open mic audience, you have to know like where the bar should be set. Like if an open mic audience gives you any kind of, haha, that's good.
Okay, then I did really good yesterday.
Yeah, you got a little bit of that, right? Yeah. So you don't, you know, if you're in a real major comedy club, even like in Sweden.
But how are you gonna get better if you do these mics? I mean, that's the problem. If it's catch-22, no one else is gonna have me, and then I need to do these mics. But my self-confidence, I mean, I get no, you know, a few jokes here and there.
Yeah.
But
well, that's why starting out in New York is so hard because. You know, here you have a great career in Sweden. You're a very established comedian there. Even have your own show there and everything.
Yeah.
And that's really great. But when you come here, no one cares about that. They could not care less about that. They don't care at all. So you have to start at the beginning, and then that means you've got to bomb a lot and go to a lot of waste of time. Open mics and
I'm getting good at that.
Yeah, yeah, and then maybe if you find which open mics are not so bad, a little bit better than the others.
Yeah.
But you're never going to get like the big laugh. Like you know, people slapping their knees and you're the best comedian I've ever seen. That's just not going to happen in open mic. So we just have to take the bar, which normally set here, and we do an open mic. You got to set it down here. And just say,
almost bury it.
Yeah,
and
it's
dig it
very
up.
low. Yeah,
it's
just,
like
just barely jumping over it, right? So, but what you can learn from open mics is what the other comedians are working on, and many times those same open mic comedians might also have some kind of show that they're producing. So it's a good place to meet people, make friends, and learn who's doing what, and get your name in the comedy community
Yeah, because it's sort of a family, and
It's a family,
it's a very competitive vibe, I think. It's been a couple of ones that has been friendly, and like, who are you, and where you're from, and how cool, but that's very rare.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it's like almost people sitting with their backs against you, and like really kind of showing you that you're not one of us.
I mean, you're tall, and you're handsome, and you're not from this country, and it's like, I hate this guy. You know, and I think that could be working against you too. It's, you know, you're not in a family yet, but if you could stay here for longer, suppose, like we've had Swedish comedians come and stay here for months at a time, and they can get more into the fabric of the family of the open mic world, because they've become more accepted. If the same people see you more than once, like there was a guy at my show that had seen you at the open mic. He said, "Oh, did I see you at Climate?" Right? That guy. So things like that start to happen more and more often, and then you don't have to keep introducing yourself to people because you're in the scene.
Yeah.
And once you're part of the scene, then everybody says, "Oh, okay, yeah, he's a desperate loser like me." So we're all desperate losers together. And,
all right.
We're all hoping that someday we'll get our chance to have something great happen. You know?
Get a chance to perform in a place with heat.
With actual heat, that would be a very big dream.
You know you made it when you're not wearing your jacket on stage.
Big dreams, big dreams. Yeah, that's really the truth.
I had some joke as well about like the only time I felt like a star here was one night when I managed to bring 6 people. Then everybody loved me. But you know.
Yeah. That's the next level up. Is once you've done a few open mics and you feel like you got your material together and you're ready for a show, then usually the next step is to do what they call a bringer show. So you're performing and you have to bring your friends, and if you bring
and your friends needs to pay.
Yeah, now of course.
The future is not looking very bright for the Swede in New York. But it's very, very inspiring.
Yeah, well, you really have to be so hungry that you just say, I don't care. You know, I had a guy who used to sell tickets for my show on the street. Like, he wanted to be a comedian, and he said, I don't have any friends that can come to the show. And I said, well, if we give you some tickets, and you write your name on the back, and if you sell tickets to strangers, but we see it's from you, it's the same as if you brought your friends.
Oh, okay.
You know? So he's out there in the cold, selling tickets, trying to get people to come to see me and him perform.
Yeah.
And he managed to get enough to get some spots, and he actually did quite well. But to do that on the streets of New York, you have to be so hungry.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna let anything stop me from getting to my dream. And I have to tell you, this guy I'm talking about, he's on Saturday Night Live now.
Really?
Yeah. And he started out on my show as a barker, they call it. So he's barking like, "Hey, everybody, want to see a show?" That kind of thing, like at a carnival. Like, step right up. That's a barker, right? So he paid his dues, as we would say.
Yeah.
So you do open mics for.
And that's what you're up against.
That's what you're up against. People that are that hungry.
Yeah.
And they're writing jokes all day, and they really want to be in this comedy world. And most people that are in this world feel like they wouldn't belong in any other world.
Exactly.
And that's part of it too, you know.
Yeah, you need to kind of really live comedy here.
Yeah.
And breathe it. It's otherwise someone else will.
Yeah, they're going
to
be working harder and networking better and just doing more spots at more awful open mics in more cold, dark basements than you will, and then they'll have a better chance of success in the long run.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's a danger of doing too many open mics because you can learn how to make other comedians laugh only. So if all you do is these open mics where you become part of the family, let's say, right?
Yeah.
Like you're in the fabric of the community, you're part of the family. And now they're laughing at you already because they're friends of yours.
Yeah.
And now you're friends with these other comedians who think you're funny. But then when you try to do a show with a real audience that doesn't know you, do those jokes still work?
Yeah.
Or have you now learned how to make only other comedians laugh?
Yeah.
Obviously, the best would be if you can make the comedians and the audience laugh. If everybody thinks you're funny. But I say those are very rare.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually
You're either one.
One or the other, yeah.
Or not at all.
Or not, more often, not at all. It's very hard to get laughs from anyone in New York. So if you can do it, then you're funny. And that's kind of a good reason to be here.
Yeah.
If you really want to know if you have what it takes. You know, because if you can get laughs in Uppsala, that's great. If you get laughs in like Houston, Texas, that's great. But if you can get laughs in New York, you're fun. It's that simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So
can I get you a drink?
No, I'm okay actually.
All right, I'll get myself a drink.
One, yeah.
Okay, excellent.